Hello everybody, welcome to the new video. Today I'm going to be doing my November reading wrap up. I'm just going to show you all the books I read in November. So the first book I read was The Seven Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle. I'm not got the physical copy with me right now because I borrowed it from my college library. All the books I read in November were part of a reading challenge and the theme was fall. I'll put up a picture of like the rules on the screen so you can see those. This book fit the prompt, has F, A and L in the title, and I actually started this in October before I even knew what the prompts were, but like luckily it just fit one of the prompts, so that was worth 10 points. And the book is about, it's kind of strange, and it's about like you're in this really big house and you wake up in someone's body, and then you kind of realise that every day you wake up in someone else's body and you basically trapped there in that house and you have to solve this murder and to find out who killed Evelyn Hardcastle, but you just keep repeating this day in different bodies every day until you've solved it. And it goes through, is it 7 characters? It must be 7 different characters, and if you're not like solved it by the end of the 7 different characters, and then you have to go, you forget everything, you go back to the start, wake up again in the first person's body, and just keep going on and on and on until, you know, someone one day solves it. Maybe not, but basically that's what it's about. And I just loved being in like the setting of the book. Like, even though it would be horrible to actually be a character in this book, I still enjoyed following the interesting, like, messed up characters in like this ancient time setting. I don't think it actually says the set, like the year. Maybe it does, I can't remember. Sometimes I would find myself a little lost and forgetting people's names, as there are quite a lot of them, but I didn't really mind it and still enjoyed just reading the book. The last 2 pages were really beautiful, even though if you read it, I think the thing he did was strange given the circumstances. The second book I read in November is The Fall by Albert Camus. I read this book because it has fall in the title, and I got this from my local library, so I should return this soon. But this book is about, it's just kind of about a character. It's like 2 characters interacting, and he's just telling us stories, really. His life story. Kind of strange. And it's unlike anything I've ever read before. And the way it was written was unique. Like, the strange character we're following directly addresses us, like, as the reader. So he'll be like, oh, should we sit on this bench? And it's like kind of strange like that. Yeah, and just asks us questions, and the questions also kind of make you just think like about life and think about different stuff, what he's talking about and what he's saying. I really like this book. I highlighted a lot of it, although it is very, very short. But this was good for the challenge because it was a quick read and I got 20 points for it. It's only 92 pages. So I really do like this book. The next book I read in November was Beautiful World, Where Are You by Sally Rooney. I think this was published in November. I mean in fall. That's the prompt it fitted. This book is about, there's 4 different characters, like main characters. Let me try to remember the names. Alice, Felix, I can't remember, Simon and Eileen. Alice and Eileen are writers and they kind of know each other, but Alice is like more successful and like famous. Simon, you know, I feel like this book is kind of hard to explain because it's just them living their life, kind of like this book. There's not really like much happening, we're just like more character studies, and this is like very character based, although I do find the story interesting. And yeah, we just follow these characters. They all know each other or get to know each other. I said in my review, this book is just about people, and I love that. I found them and the relationships between them really interesting, and the writing style was beautiful. I've read Normal People by Sally Rooney like a year ago, but I don't really remember much about it. Like, I can't remember if I found the writing beautiful then, or I don't know. I think I do prefer this one, but I need to read Normal People again. I feel like I need to give it another chance, and I'm excited to watch the show, which I've not watched. But anyway, I love the emails between Eileen and Alice because they send each other emails just like updated about their lives because they haven't seen each other in a while, and they just really talked about random stuff, really. And I don't know, I just found the stuff they were talking about really interesting, like the Bronze Age. I just learned stuff from them, which I love. I love when you read a fiction book but you learn stuff too. That's why I love historical fiction, because like you're kind of learning history, but you're also kind of like just enjoying a nice made up story. I feel you get a feel of what it was like to live in that time, even though you're not really living in that time. It's not just boring. Yeah, the stuff they said in the emails just made me contemplate ideas that I found quite interesting. It just feels so real and normal, and that's the part of the reason I really like this book, because it's just ordinary. Things that are happening, they're just kind of ordinary, but I find that comforting and just like nice to read. Just the descriptions of little moments sometimes, like it's nothing big but it just makes it so beautiful and just really makes you think about the little things and stuff, appreciate them more. I forgot to say my ratings, but I gave them all 4 stars so far. The final book I read in November was The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern, and this cover, I just love it so much. So beautiful. This book is very magical. It's about this circus that only appears at night, and it travels all around the world. It's just about the circus really, and there's these 2 characters, Marco and Celia. And basically they're competing in this like little game. They're in this game. It's like magic game because they both are magic, and they're competing against each other, but you don't really know, they don't know, we don't know the rules of the game or how the game ends or anything like that. And the book was just so magical and it felt really good to be in. The writing was nice and I just love the cover so much. Quite long, it's like 626 pages, which I think made up for this book. It contains like many interesting characters. My favourite was Friedrich. I don't know if that's how you say it, but I loved him. He was a clockmaker, and I think that kind of lands a clock here. He was also a really big fan of the circus, and he wrote like these stuff in the newspaper about his experience at the circus. And sometimes there'll be chapters where it'll be like a quote from him, and it's just so beautiful the way he describes it. I didn't fully like understand the game, kind of. Obviously you wasn't meant to at the start, but I think even when it was kind of revealed, I didn't really understand like the game really, or how the magic worked. But I think that's the case with like most fantasy books, like you can't fully understand it. Like if someone asked me to explain it in detail, like I wouldn't be able to do it. But I think that's just the case with most fantasy for me anyway. I don't know if that's normal. I gave this 4 stars too, and I got 20 points for this as it was published in for September to be specific. They're all the books I read this month. Good reading month, all 4 stars. I'm really excited because tomorrow I'm starting Vlogmas, but like obviously by the time this video's out I would have already started Vlogmas. But yeah, I'm just excited, and I don't think there's any challenges for December, so December would be like fully just random books I just chose to read. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed and I hope I'll see you next time. Bye.